My client's restaurant was losing lots of money despite having full tables, and they had no idea why. So that's why we created this data analysis project. In this project, I used Excel and ChatGPT together to break their pricing, sales, and operations data apart. In previous video, I used ChatGPT for data analysis only and compare the results versus my own results. You may find the video here. I really recommend you to watch this. If you're using ChatGPT for your data analysis, it might be some glitches in the performance you get and the reliability issues. In this video, you will learn what are the operations, what are the questions, how we form these questions, and what are the answers that leads to optimization in the business. Now let's get down to work. Let's see first our objectives. First, we're looking for the top selling products or items. This is very common in any data analysis project. You're first looking for the top sellers or the best performers or the stars, and also you keep an eye on the lowest ones, those who are underperforming and are not keeping up with the others. You need to find out why. Second, we're looking for monthly growth rate in sales and identify the top and non-trending ones. Third, we're looking for a relationship between time of the day and the sold products. We need to find if there are any relationship, any correlation between these two or not. Next, we're looking for optimal menu size and menu items. This is very important for consumer decision making and decision fatigue. We need to carefully optimize the menu based on the buying behavior of consumers in the dataset throughout the time we had. Objective number 5 is to look for the items that are frequently bought together. This is very important in marketing and promoting some products. We need to bundle or maybe mix some products together in order to create an offer. I'm going to use ChatGPT and Excel together. ChatGPT, if the code interpreter is on, can calculate and process some sophisticated mathematical operations inside it. Next, we're looking for day of the week and time of the day to see if we could draw any meaningful pattern here. Lastly, we are looking for consumer waiting time or maybe staffing based on the transaction times being recorded. If there is a peak time, we need to be prepared for that time. Or maybe if the processing time is taking longer than usual, the customer may feel unsatisfied and may churn the business. Now that we have our questions and objectives, let's look at our dataset. The client sent us two datasets. First is the order details, which is the order ID, order date, time, and item ID. And the second dataset is related to that item, the price, the category, and the item name. This is common in businesses. They record their data in different locations, different data sets, and you need to combine these pieces of puzzles together to form a final data set in order to perform the calculations easily and smoothly. So the first thing that we are going to do here is to pre-process the data. We're going to stick them together in order to piece our final data set for analysis and then move on to the objectives. So this is the order detail. As you can see, the order time is in the wrong format. The first thing I'm gonna do here is to change this into time. Okay, we have the item ID, but we don't have the item details. And as you can see, this is quite a large data set with 12,000-ish records here. So I'm gonna extract the item details and put it beside the item ID automatically. Stay with me. I'm gonna copy these values for item details, head back to dataset and create a new sheet, and I'm gonna put these in a new sheet in the main sheet that we have. Now we have the order details in one sheet and the item details in another sheet. So here I'm gonna use the function Xlookup in Excel to look up for values in the item details and get whatever we have there and put it inside this sheet. So whenever you are working with arrays, I recommend using Xlookup, and if your data that you're looking for is singular or scattered data, VLOOKUP just fine. Let's put our Xlookup here. I'm gonna look up the value item ID of 109. The lookup array is where we're looking for this. Okay, and the return array is whatever we have here. I'm gonna press OK, copy the labels. So the item ID of 109 is Korean beef bowl, the category is Asian, and the price is $17.95. Next, I'm gonna drag and drop this formula all the way down to apply it to our dataset. But the dataset is very heavy, and with 12,000 rows, you can't do that. So here, I'm gonna go to the adjacent column, control down, and we are at the bottom. Next, I'm gonna go SL right, put number 1, get back up. Now control shift and down and control D. So the values are created here, but as you can see, we have a problem. That's because we didn't fix our column. This is very important in Excel. Whenever you are applying a formula, be careful with the ranges. The ranges are also dynamic. You need to fix them. So let's get back to our formula. I need to change the lookup value in every row. Okay. The lookup array should be fixed. Use F4 in Windows. I don't know what would be equivalent in Mac. Find out by your own. And the return array also needs to be fixed. So again, I'm gonna select Control Shift down all the way here and Control D. Now, as you can see, all the menu items are imported successfully. Can we proceed with the objectives? Not yet. As you can see, the items I imported here have blue shades around the cells. This is because Excel notifying you that these are calculated by Xlookup formula or any formula that you have. You need to copy the values in another sheet in order to perform your operations, since the current operations, for example, the pivot table, cannot find these values. Let me show you what I mean. If I select the area that we have and press Ctrl T in order to change this into a table, as you can see, we are returned with spill error, which is whatever that I told you. So copy all of the data that we have and proceed to another sheet and paste values. If you're working with a huge data, these operations may not be suitable for you. You need to find better solutions like Python or maybe SQL in order to perform your tasks. The Excel is not recommended if you have large amounts of data. For example, 1 million rows isn't possible to process in Excel efficiently. You could do it, but it's not efficient. So now that I have my values here, let's again transform this to time, and let's transform the dates. Now I need to find if there are any blank values or maybe non-values in my data in order to handle the calculations properly. An easy and time-efficient way to do this is just to filter the columns for blanks and see if it contains any blank value or not. The hard option is to use Power Query in Excel in order to find the blanks, non-values, or maybe duplicates, which is out of the scope of today's video. So I'm gonna head to data and put a filter on them. And here I just check for blank values. As you can see, we have a blank value in here. I'm gonna select it to only show me the blank ones. And then Control A, remove the first line and delete all of these blank rows. Now if I clear this, I have my data set without any blank values, hopefully. So now let's select the table range. I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and now we have our table. Let's change this to a pivot table so we can handle the calculations. So by now we achieved almost about 20 to 30% of our analysis. We have created the data analysis data set. We have done some pre-processings in order to remove the non-values or blanks. And now we can look for the first objective. To find out what are our best selling products, I'm gonna select item name or the products, put it in the rows. and I'm gonna use the price as values, and the operation here is sum of price, which is the revenue generated by this business. Now let's sort them based on largest to smallest, and these are the top selling items. Now let's see the ratios. For the ratios of each, I'm gonna select and copy all of this in a new sheet. The reason is because pivot tables are not allowing you to calculate operations outside of the table. So here let's just perform a division. Now you can see the top 3 items and their contributions as percentage. And at the bottom you can see that the chicken taco is the worst selling product in this restaurant. I assume we need to immediately change the shift. If you like this video till here, I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe to the channel. I can't wait to make new contents for you guys. Second, we're looking for monthly growth rate across products. We're gonna identify the top trending ones and the non-trending ones. Let's deploy this into a pivot table. For the rows, I'm looking for item name. For the columns, I'm looking for order date. And as you can see, as I drag and drop the dates, the Excel automatically recognizes the date format. I'm gonna delete the days and order dates. And I'm only keeping the months here. For the values, I'm gonna use price as sum of the price. So now we have per each item, per each month, the sum of the revenue or sum of the price, which is the revenue. This is because how the data was created. As you can see, for order ID of number 2, here we have 5 different records, and if I perform a summation on the prices, this is equivalent to the revenue generated. Now I'm gonna copy all these values and put them in a new sheet, since the calculations and the processes cannot be done in the pivot table. Now let's deploy the growth rate formula. Okay, so now I have top trending products and non-trending ones. The managerial implications may be to use the top trendings at the top of the menu, or maybe increase the prices a bit and perform some checks, quality checks on the non-trending ones to see why they're not trending enough, their sales are going down and they're causing some problems here. For the third task, I use ChatGPT. I'm looking for a relationship between time of the day and customer spending. So I gave ChatGPT a specific prompt. I asked it on the axis, like x-axis and y-axis, what to display and the line chart I'm looking for. And as you can see, this is the result. The chart shows some interesting behavioral notes about the customers. As you can see, there is a high rise in demand at the beginning of the day, then followed by a dip, and again a rise in the demand around the hour of 15 till 18. After that, from 18 to 11 p.m., that is the time of the restaurant to be closed, the demand slowly shifted down. For the fourth item, I again asked ChatGPT for assistance. As you can see, I have provided the prompt, and let's see the results. Designing a menu is a sophisticated task. So what we could offer here as a data analyst is 2 approaches. First one is to put the best performing products at the top of the menu, and conversely we could also use the lower performing products at the top in order to gain more traffic or views and potentially more orders. The fifth objective is to find frequently bought products together. This is very difficult to be implemented in Excel. You need add-ons or maybe some other external calculations. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT and let's see how it performs. The fifth objective is a combinatorial problem with 496 possible ways to be checked. So I asked ChatGPT, and as you can see, I have given the prompt. Let's see how the ChatGPT handles this task. Here we have top 10 frequently bought together items with their frequencies. This is very useful when creating some campaigns or promotional activities by combining items together and creating bundles. which can further improve the sales and maybe boost them. Next, we want to determine how does the day of the week and time of the day impact sales. For this, I asked ChatGPT again, and this is the results. This is completely aligned with previous objective that we had about analyzing the time of the day. Now we have it across days of the week as well. From here, it is obvious that we have some peak hours like 12 and 13, whereas some hours are lighter in demand like later in the night. And last objective is to determine the impact of customers' traffic on staffing needs. This is intertwined with previous task. I asked again from ChatGPT, you can see the prompt, and let's see the results. This task requires so many calculations that it was nearly impossible to be deployed in Excel, but I did deploy it in order to check and validate the responses from ChatGPT, and I could safely say that these values are valid. Now let's interpret the results. This chart is showing average time between orders per day of the week. We need this in order to optimize the staffing needs and the staffing schedule. What this chart is showing is the average time took between 2 consecutive orders to happen. This means that if this number is low, we are in high demand, we are in peak hours or peak days, but as the number goes up, it shows that the system or the business is facing lower demands and we could possibly let go some of the staff, whereas in peak hours, we need the staff in place to handle the customers' peak orders. As an example, Mondays are the busiest days of the week. We are facing lots of customers and the demand is very, very high. So the mean time between orders is the lowest among the others. Whereas on Wednesdays, this number is higher, meaning we are facing lower demands and we could possibly send some of the personnel or staff on a vacation. This was for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. You saw how we can bring some vague problem like where the money goes or why we are not doing well into some actionable insights that can better optimize the business. So if you want to see how we can bring optimization into the business, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'm going to break down a pricing problem, which is another confusing subject of any business, how to price the products optimally. Stay tuned, stay optimized.